The mysterious tribes of the Amazon. Facts about first wedding night that will shock you. Greetings. Today, we will talk about how some tribes of the Amazon live and what is known about them at the moment. It is true that the Aborigines descended from ancient people living on the territory of modern Siberia. Which of the wild tribes should definitely not be caught since they practice cannibalism? Is it true in the Amazon, many thousands of years ago, there was a powerful explosion after which a powerful Aboriginal deity appeared? Be sure to watch the video to the very end so you don't miss anything important. Life in difficult conditions. You probably know that even in the age of information technology and the development of modern society on Earth, there are still wild tribes. Aborigines not only live far from civilization, but also observe customs for many years. Such living conditions are characteristic of primitive people. This time, we will consider the wild tribes of the Amazon, which are based in the rainforests of Brazil. However, the life of the Aborigines is not as simple as it may seem at first glance. Wild tribes have to wage a constant struggle for survival. It is also known about the local inhabitants of the Amazon, who once and for all disappeared due to the fault of man. As you remember, in the era of colonization and the great geographical discoveries, Europeans embarrassed wild tribes, and they, in turn, went deep into the forests. So they settled there. They built settlements, began to engage in hunting and gathering, and continued their own kind. But few people know that those very local people have common genes with the ancient people of Siberia. At least that's what the findings of recent research suggest. Scientists have proved that the two groups under study have similarities in the structure of DNA, and soon found confirmation of this fact. It turns out that at the time of the last ice age, ancient people living on the territory of modern Siberia were able to safely move to another place. Here is the explanation of this amazing fact. As for the first settlement of indigenous peoples in the Amazon, it happened about 11,000 years ago. Today, there are about 500 wild tribes living in the Brazilian forests. Aborigines have their own language, adhere to strict customs, and live in a certain territory. And although in reality they are considered wild and isolated from the outside world, some of the Aborigines do come into contact with modern man. But this is more of an exception than a rule. So, let's talk about the most famous tribes of the Amazon: Amandawa and Piraha. Limited and meager vocabulary. Be honest, can you imagine a person who limits his speech even to common words? At the very least, such behavior would seem strange. But in the tropical jungles of the Amazon live just such tribes. These are the Amandawa and the Piraha. Let's start with the first tribe. For the first time about the Aborigines became known in 1986. Modern people were amazed at how limited the Amandawa are in their vocabulary. For example, the natives have no concept of time at all. They have no idea what a day, week, month, year are. The Amandawa tribe doesn't even know the real age of their tribesmen. It is only at maturity that an Aborigine takes a completely new name. So the status changes, which means the native is considered a step higher. Plus, Amandawa cannot boast a variety of words that are used in everyday speech. A similar situation is observed in the Piraha tribe. This nation was discovered in 1977 by a Catholic missionary named Daniel Everett. His original goal was to teach the natives to believe in God and many other things we're used to. It goes without saying that Everett did not know the local language and so began to learn to speak it. True, this clearly did not please the missionary, and therefore he lost faith in God and became an atheist. The language of the Piraha tribe, along with Amandawa, is limited. It does not have indirect speech, as well as words denoting numbers and colors. The natives do not adhere to myths and legends about the creation of all life on Earth, do not use a calendar. It is also surprising that they have no private property and food reserves for the future. All the prey they catch is immediately eaten. Nevertheless, the IQ level of the Piraha tribe is not lagging behind modern man. The dangerous Karubo tribe. Ever heard of wild cannibals? I would sincerely like to believe that this is just another horror movie that has nothing to do with reality. Alas, but such a practice is common among the Aborigines of the Karubo tribe. The locals live near the Amazon River and near its source. By their nature, the Aborigines are warlike. They often raid neighbouring tribes. Both men and women take part in them. Small clubs and poison darts are used for attack and defence. The Karubo Aborigines have finally separated from civilization and live in isolation from modern society. In their free time, they are engaged in hunting. To date, it is not possible to accurately determine the number of people. According to various estimates on the territory of the Amazon, lives from a few hundred to 1,000 locals. Their first wedding night is aggressive, and the future wife does not always survive the night. From other tribes, the Karubo differs in the following ways. First, his tribesmen do not neglect cannibalism. Even members of their own tribe can be caught for this purpose. But this happens only in extreme cases, for example, in times of food shortage. Secondly, the Karubo adhere to the principle of monogamy, that is, one woman per man, while all other tribes adhere to polygamy, simply polygamy. Thirdly, the Aborigines have a rather unusual ritual. To increase social status, the Aboriginal must stay alone in the cemetery. This is the way to rise up the social hierarchy of the Karubo tribe. Cinta Larga. The Cinta Larga tribe once numbered over 5,000 people, but today that number has been reduced by a factor of 5. The Amazon natives were first recognized at the beginning of the last century, but this was followed by events that almost led to the decline of the civilization of the local inhabitants. First of all, this is due to the deforestation in which the Cinta Larga lived. From hopelessness, the tribe turned to a nomadic way of life. The natives tried to get as far away from people as possible. Then, on this territory, Europeans discovered mineral resources, rubber trees, gold, diamonds, tin. It's logical to assume that people from all over the world started coming here. Cinta Larga was careful to protect its lands. And in the early noughties, it even managed to fight back against its detractors. In order not to interfere with the normal life of the tribe, the government set aside special reservations. To date, it is known that the inhabitants of the Cinta Larga tribe are engaged in hunting, fishing, and gathering. As soon as valuable resources run out in one or another territory, the Aborigines move to another place. A characteristic feature of the tribe is that the men change their names when their social status or other events change. They also have secret names that only the man's parents know. Kayapo. Finally, we come to one of the most mysterious tribes in the Amazon. Meet the Kayapo, who believe in the existence of a divine being. According to this legend, many thousands of years ago, there was a massive explosion. Then a being appeared, who became the leader of the Kayapo tribe. In case of danger, it shot lightning, and in peacetime taught the natives many useful things: hunting, growing medicinal plants, building houses. Only then this chief left the Kayapo tribe once and for all.